Hello and welcome to the Satluj TV podcast. Our regular guest today is Dr. Singh Grewal, MD, a distinguished cardiology specialist in California with 48 years or more of experience. Dr. Grewal is also a passionate advocate for Sikh and Khalistan causes. He's the co-founder of SikhHeritageEducation.com that documents and archives material relevant to Sikh rights and history, and was also the co-founder of World Sikh News. Deeply impacted by the events of 1984, Dr. Grewal has since then been a powerful advocate ensuring the world never forgets those events. Dr. Grewal, welcome and thank you for joining us once again today.
Good morning, Angus. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Now, Dr. Grewal, Sikh activism, as we know, and the battle for basic justice and human rights has seen many heroes, and indeed Shaheeds. One person who we talk a lot about, and for very good reason, is Jaswant Singh Khalra, the subject of today's discussion. He has stood as an inspiration to both the Sikh community and the world at large for the ultimate sacrifice that he made to uncover India's shameful past, that even today its government is still trying to quietly hide away. Well, it's a big story in more ways than one, but let's start at the beginning, if we may. And could you provide us then a bit of background of what triggered Jaswant Singh Khalra to embark upon his chosen path?
You know, many people have sacrificed their lives bringing the truth, standing against oppression. But in last few decades, Sardar Jaswant Singh Khalra remains a unique person who everybody concerned about the Sikh issues knows about it. I feel it's important to talk about it because there is a movie made, we will talk about it at the end, about his life, which Indian government is blocking. And so we want to bring out life of Sardar Jaswant Singh Khalra, who he was, in order for people to know more than just our 30-minute talk. There are two books. One is The Valiant Jaswant Singh Khalra by Gurmeet Kaur, which talks about his life, the situation in Punjab then, and then what happened to him, what is the family story, which is very important for any Sikh who is educated, want to know more about the Sikh struggle. I think they should read. It's available on the Amazon. The second book is Reduced to Ashes, which is a similar documentation with his team brought out to public and then documented by one of the lawyers. So these two are excellent reading about Jaswant Singh Khalra, his life and what they were trying to do. So his investigations were basically bringing justice to the victim of those atrocities, and he received multiple threats for being a human rights activist. In 1990, he left Punjab at the advice of his family friends, went to England for 2 years, almost 2 years, and sought asylum there, which from my reading, he was given. But in 1992, all of a sudden, he showed up back home and he decided that he was going to continue his work instead of staying in England, which is very important. You know, his conscience did not allow him to stay away from what he was trying to do, and he went, and his family was very supportive of him. So after 1984, there were extrajudicial killings by police, and that continued almost till 1996. So district of Amritsar, Gurdaspur bore the heavy brunt because the militancy was more active there. They were close to Harmandir Sahib. So when people all of a sudden start disappearing and nobody knew, family didn't know, nobody was told what happened to them, they were tortured and killed, and police will deny anything that they are not arrested, they don't have any record. And this was a terrible, terrible situation. So Sardar Khalra and his team, they were many people, but three of them worth mentioning: Jaswant Singh Khalra, Jaspal Singh, I think his last name Dillon, and Amrik Singh Muksa. These three people were the main, and they went from village to village, collected a lot of data, and still could not find the people. So few people which were very close to Jaswant Singh Khalra, when they disappeared, he became more upset.
Yeah, Dr. Grewal, if I may jump in there, Dr. Grewal, sorry to interrupt, but I understand, and this is really quite extraordinary, he was working at a bank at the time, and his colleagues, some of his work colleagues, just never showed up for work, and that is what raised his suspicions, and he started asking these questions, well, where are they? And nobody could answer. So that, I understand, is the reason that he started investigating. This was the trigger for him to go out and find out what happened to these people. It must have been quite extraordinary.
Yes, so what happened after their exhausting investigation, they were not finding the answer, and the police will never admit. So when some of the people close to him, who he personally knew, disappeared, he became more and more agitated and upset. So one of the very well-known Sikh freedom fighter, Gurbachan Singh Manachal, was killed by police and disappeared, and police will not acknowledge that they have killed him or they have arrested him. So Khalra and his team, they went to crematoria, and talking to one of the workers there, they learned that when police kills, they leave the dead bodies there, then it's up to the workers of crematoria to cremate them. To cremate them, the municipality will supply them the firewood, but municipality will only supply the firewood when they have proper record of who were they cremating. So they learned that these records do exist. And they started investigating. To their surprise, they found almost 3,000 records in 3 crematoria in Patti, Amritsar, and one or the other crematoria. They were shocked. So they brought this out to public. There were about 700 in Patti, 400 in another one, 200 in Amritsar. That's a crematoria at Durgyana Mandir. This was the eye-opener to people of Punjab, and they held a meeting in Chandigarh where this was disclosed to, this was not disclosed, but presented to the people, and that is also documented well in these books, and they're reduced to ashes. So because of that, I think he became a target. So their calculation was that if they continue this investigation, these 3,000 will be at least 25,000. So they said 25,000 people have been killed by police. And this was a very bad situation. The police, instead of apologizing or taking some corrective actions, became more aggressive. So they became more violent, and the threat to Jaswant Singh Khalra's life was very imminent. Before he was killed, he came to Canada. He and Justice Vance were invited to talk to the members of the parliament. It was arranged by World Sikh Organization, and they presented to the committees their findings, what they have presented back home. And people there were shocked. Some of the parliament members even suggested to him that he should not go back and he will be killed. He said, no, I cannot do that. So he went back, and there was some thinking, since he has been outside India, he had talked to many other human rights organizations, then maybe police will not attack him, but that did not turn out to be true. So he became target, and the chief of Punjab Police, KPS Gill, was personally agitated, and he said that this human rights activists need to be silenced. So he told one of his police officer, who was Ajit Singh Sandhu. He was a senior police superintendent in the district where Mr. Khalra lived. So he was assigned to eliminate Mr. Khalra. September 6th, 1995, he was washing his car inside his house when the police came in a van and they abducted him. Some of the people who watched this, one of his friend was there named Rajiv Randhawa, and there were some neighbors who saw that. But so there were also people who were very afraid of talking to public because they're afraid of the same thing may happen to them. So September 6th, he's abducted. He's taken to police station, many places, badly tortured, and they basically wants him to stop from doing what he was doing. And they say, look, you want to be 25,000 and number one, or you want to stop? He did not agree with them. So he was tortured. He was taken to Chabal. Last one was a Chabal village police station, and then killed and disposed of in the river, which is a confluence of Satluj and Bias. It's a big water channel, and he was thrown there, and after that, nobody knew what happened. Probably just disappeared in the water. So his wife, Parmjit Kaur, very brave lady, continued the search for him, and police will not give any clues, and they even threatened her that she will be eliminated, but she continued. So she went to Supreme Court and filed a habeas corpus petition, and the Supreme Court justice told the police, and they started a CBI investigation. CBI is the Central Bureau of Investigation, which is independent of Punjab Police. So they did their own investigation. The CBI team was also threatened by the Punjab Police, but they finished their and the investigation gave to the report. There was one Punjab police officer, not officer, there was some irregular hiring by Punjab Police. They call special SPO, Special Police Officer. They were really irregular people. They try to hire them and they use them in this torture and killing process. So this one person named Kuldeep Singh confessed to CBI, and he gave the whole detail of Jaswant Singh Khalra's kidnapping, torture, and according to him, KPS Gill, who was head of Punjab Police, Director General, he personally came and interrogated Jaswant Singh Khalra, but they could not break his resolve. They could not convert him to the police side, and finally they decided to kill him. So he became 25,001 and who knows how many more. But this story does not end there. Because of the efforts of friends of Jaswant Singh Khalra and his wife Parmjit Kaur, the CBI inquiry did take place, and they confirmed. And Kuldeep Singh, who was one of the police boys told the whole story. Before his whole confession goes to the court, they also threatened Mrs. Khalra like he was talking because he was bribed by her against the police, which turned out to be the false case. So she was cleared of this. Finally, in 19, let me go. So there was two lawyers helping Mr. Khalra. So one of the hearings in 1998 in one of the courts in Punjab, her attorney, Mr. Sodhi, was insulted and threatened in the court by the police, but judge never stopped it. In fact, gave police people who were accused a bail. I'm going to read the names because I don't try to remember.
So, Dr. Grewal, if we can then just come on to some of the details of Kuldeep Singh's testimony, because I think this really gives a real genuine insight into how evil the police, the Punjab police were under KPS Gill at the time. Can we talk about some of the details that Kuldeep Singh revealed about what happened to this poor victim of supposed law enforcement? Can you just give us some of the details that Kuldeep Singh revealed in his testimony to the Supreme Court?
Okay. So in it took 10 years for the decision. You can see the justice, they say justice delayed, justice denied. 2005, additional session judge Bhupinder Singh, Patiala Special Court, they call CBI courts, gave his decision. 3 persons were sentenced to life or imprisonment. Jaspal Singh, he was assistant sub-inspector, Amarjit Singh, and they were 4 or 5 other given 7 years prison sentences. Then they go to, the process continues, they appeal and they go to High Court. In 2011, High Court did not change the decision, but they changed the 7-year prison sentence of those police officers to converted to life in jail. So it became worse. So then they went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court also held the same decision and no relief was given to the police officers. So this abduction, torture, killing was investigated by the CBI. And at the 3 level of justice system, these people were punished. So this is a very unique decision. I think it's the effort of Mrs. Khalra and her friends and those attorneys who believe in justice system and help. Because many other, those 25,000 people, nothing happened. So this is a case where people remember how this ended. Jaswant Singh Khalra became a household name for the Sikhs, and also not only Sikhs, even for the Punjab, because whenever there was some injustice he was fighting, it was not only for Sikhs. He even went and demonstrated when the Babri Masjid was demolished. If some Hindu was killed, he was against that. So he was a human rights champion who was for justice. Police killed him, denied it, but finally justice was delivered. Ajit Singh Sandhu, who was the main person, died in very suspicious circumstances. He was not punished because at that time he was dead. So the story is that he committed suicide, but there's another version that KPS Gill, who was head of Punjab Police, engineered his killing because he was afraid he may become like the other police officer who confessed, and then Gill will be in trouble. So we will never know what really happened, but he died in suspicious circumstances. The other people are still in jail that we know.
So, Dr. Grewal, the impact of this case in the Supreme Court was significant. It did have wide-reaching impact and significance. Can you talk us about some of that impact? Why that case was so important over the murder of Jaswant Singh Khalra?
So this is a very shameful for the Indian government to stop the movie. There's a movie made called Punjab 1995 with Diljit Dosanjh, who's a very popular Punjabi actor, who's played in many other movies of 1984 and after the operation. So this movie, even though it's ready, has not been released to public. I don't know why and what are they afraid. The movie was Indira Gandhi, where that lady has portrayed Sikhs as bad people. That was released because she's a BJP MP. But this movie, 1985, has not been released. We are told they have put many cuts to eliminate some of these scenes, but still we have no time when people can see it. What we're talking about, this court decisions, I don't think the film could have shown any fake. It has to be based on the facts. The facts are known to people. It only will be on the video form. So hiding these things is common in India. So one of the similar stories, sometime in future, if we have time, we can talk. I don't know if you can see. Okay, this is a book, say, I am on the hit list. This is not in Punjab. This is 2018 in Karnataka. A journalist has been killed named Gauri Lankesh because she was very much against what BJP was doing and the corruption and the killings. So she's eliminated. The author of this book talks to another attorney who's a civil rights, who fights these cases. Venkatesh, his name is Venkatesh, B.T. Venkatesh. So this is the quote I would like to mention. He tells the author of this book, in India, the government, if they can't kill the story, they will silence the storyteller. Just one line tells you what is going on. In this one, who's killing people? It's another BJP, or not BJP, Hindutva organization they call Sanatan Sansata. So there's so many of these organization, like Serpent has many heads, and the killing of people who disagreed, who didn't want to be part of Hindutva, has even become worse. So the question we are asking ourselves, all the people who was involved in Jaswant Singh Khalra's killing were mostly Sikhs. Then you say yourself, how can that be? How come they did not have any brain, heart, or mind to do this kind of work? So then trying to find the answer, I think I'm going to mention some studies I came across, which is there was a Stanford prison experiment carried out by psychologist Philip Zimbardo. This professor is Jewish by faith, and he was done a lot of research. I read his book. Many other studies were done. He was trying to find out what happened to Jews in Poland, other places, Germany. How can human beings do that? So to conduct this experiment, he divided students with their consent into two groups. One become jailers, the other one become prisoners. Just overnight, the jailers start torturing the other students. So it became so bad, this experiment was stopped after 6 days. Another psychologist, who is Zimbardo's wife now, came, and she told him, "What the heck are you doing to these kids? Stop this." So the behavior of the jailer was so bad. So, and so Zimbardo's conclusion was that the situational forces and authority structure have a significant influence on the behavior. The guards who were given power over the prisoners quickly became abusive, while the prisoner became passive and submissive, even though they knew the situation was temporary. So, role of conformity. People tend to conform to the role they are assigned, and those roles can lead to dramatic changes in behavior. The guards began to act with increasing cruelty, while the prisoner became more distressed and withdraw. One or the other explanation from some other studies comes, there's a de-individualization and loss of personal responsibility. Like when these police officers, when they are working in a group, they don't feel individually answerable or responsible. So they don't identify themselves like they are doing something wrong. So it becomes a group action. So that is what I could discover, why these people will kill, torture their own fellow co-religionists or fellow human beings. That's very interesting psychology. That's why we are not able to stop it.
And Dr. Grewal, if I may just jump in there, of course, one of the classic defences used by the Nazis after the Second World War, when Nazi officers were on trial, their standard defence was, "I was only following orders." And I guess it's the same human psychology, isn't it? It's that groupthink. I was just following orders. I was doing what everybody else was doing.
Yes, yes. Why do they take those orders from the politicians? Because sometimes there are many reasons they become part of the corruption. They financially or personally benefited. They become part of the same team. When there's lack of accountability and oversight, I think this even becomes worse. Militarization of police, which they have done in India, is also responsible for this. Scapegoating, targeting special groups, if you are minority now, what happened? So let's see one recent one. I don't know if you have seen the picture. There was a young man riding a bullet motorcycle, which is a high-end motorcycle, in Tamil Nadu, and 3 persons of his own town or village hacked his hand because he's a low caste. How dare you go in front of us on this motorbike? So the situation there has not improved, not only in Punjab, now it's much more widespread since this Modi government came. This is this torture, etc., is condemned by many countries, but it is not going away in India. It's getting worse by the day. Not only in India, now they are more daring. They want to even come outside. So, Jaswant Singh Khalra's story exemplifies the personal sacrifices many activists make in the face of intense government opposition and violence. His effort to document the disappearance highlight the importance of memory in face of state-sponsored violence. ensuring that these stories of victims are not forgotten. Jaswant Singh Khalra served as a symbol of resistance against tyranny, inspiring others to stand up for human rights and social injustice. His wife, Paramjit Kaur, continued his work, and a brave lady. Recently, she oversaw Amarpal Singh's campaign, who won for Member of Parliament from that area with the largest majority. He was in jail and she was in charge of campaign. You can see they cannot suppress everybody. Couple of years ago, we had a function here in California in memory of Jaswant Singh Khalra, and his wife and daughter Navkiran Kaur Khalra was there. So Mrs. Khalra spoke. Very humble person. Very humble person. I was very impressed. But I was even more impressed what Navkiran said. She said, if there's a war going on and we win the war, after winning the war, we do the same thing. What people who we killed were doing, then what did we win? Very impressive. So that tells you what Jaswant Singh Khalra and his family is about. They were against injustice and not for any retributions. What Navkiran said is very important. So, in history, what she said, there's an example of that in history that I remember reading. When American Civil War ended, General Lee, who was a Confederate general, surrendered to General Grant, and General Grant was at one time his junior. So General Grant told him, leave your weapons, take your horse, go back home. This is what they did in America. That's how America became great. General Grant and Abraham Lincoln did not kill, prosecute, or put somebody in jail because they were Confederate soldiers or fighters. They sent everybody home and they rebuilt the country. So that's what made America great. The reason I feel compelled to talk about it, we are probably getting very close to having free country, Khalistan. We need to learn from these examples. We do not want, after we get freedom, into these retributions, but we want reconciliation and rebuild our country instead of what some other places happen. And this is very much in line with the Sikh principles. Jaswant Singh Khalra may be terrorist for the Indian government, but he is our martyr, our hero. He will not be forgotten. Sorry, I'm a little emotional.
No, it's understandable, Dr. Grewal, and it's very clear that he has left a deeply powerful and inspirational legacy to not just the community, but to anybody who believes in justice and fights against injustice and stands up to regimes like India.
Yeah. Well, there are many stories like this where the Sikhs have given their life for justice. Well, slowly, as we progress, we will talk some of these more. Standing against injustice is in Sikh religion, and we must continue that. Thank you, Angus.
Indeed, and of course there we must leave it. But we will talk again with Dr. Grewal soon to continue these fascinating discussions. Dr. Grewal, it has been inspirational and an absolute pleasure as always. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching the Satluj TV podcast. We will see you next time.